Greetings, Darlene here. Let's find out what I did out in my garden today. Well, I have a couple of plants that I need to trim last year's growth off of. One of them is the fennel, and there's new fennel growing down below. You can kind of see it there, but I need to cut off all of last year's fronds. There's a few seeds on them, but not many. I didn't really collect the seeds, and I probably should have, but I didn't. Next year I'll collect more seeds. So anyway, I'll get those all off of there. They were pretty easy to cut off. And I'm just going to stick those in my little wagon to wait for me to take to the compost pile at some point in the future. They'll just sit in there for now. I finally got around to trimming my rose bushes. This one I left it tall because that's where all the green was. And my white lilacs are getting ready to bloom. In that pot I planted, I always forget the name of it when I go to say it, the same thing that I have on the end here. I'll think of it. I'll write it down inside when I think of it. Same thing as this. It was a bulb. I got it at Walmart, so hopefully it grows. I finally brought all of these out. You've been seeing them in my grow room. And celery's looking a little worse for wear sitting outside. I've got more things in my little greenhouse. Got it unzipped right now, but I'm going to zip it up here shortly. Not all that warm today. It's in the 50s, but I don't know, it just feels chilly. My nasturtiums are, well, they're not, the leaves aren't looking so bad, but they're looking rather puny. So I did plant some more seeds in the center there, so hopefully it comes up. My milkweed is looking nice. I need to get that planted out. It's in that winter jar. And then over here I planted some sweet williams that I had growing in my little greenhouse. Yesterday I planted some dill. I have some echinacea and some borage, and there was one other thing that I planted there too. Again, when I go to say things, the names escape me. Earlier today I fed my worms, and I thought I'd open it up just briefly here and give you a peek. I'm not going to dig down in there. If I dig down in there, you would see I have a ton more worms than what you see in here. They're kind of underneath, but they're doing nicely. I'll cover those back up, and I need to get some dry bedding and add to them, but next time I feed them I'll do that. I went over and looked at my grapevines. They haven't got any green on them yet, but you can see all the buds just ready to pop there. So they're looking good. That's in a few weeks. That's going to be quite beautiful with all the greenery that's going to pop out there. And I have a couple of tulips that are right there. I need to come out and get rid of all the grass. It's a perpetual problem having grass grow where I don't want it to grow. Blackberries probably need old canes cut out, but the newer canes are starting to get a few leaves. That isn't focusing real well, but you can see how they're coming out. And the raspberries are starting to green up. And my task with those is to come out and pull out all of last year's dead canes. I shall do that within just a few days. I'm loving the way it looks, though. The berries will come ripe in July, end of June, first part of July. Plum tree is just full of blooms. I hope we end up with plums this year. We used to get plums every, on it, and then the last few years it hasn't given us any. The apple blossoms are starting to bud out. They'll bud out a lot fuller here in just a few days. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any frosts for at least a week. So I haven't looked beyond that. Oh, I wanted to show you, this is a grape cutting that I have in the house. And I was looking at it today, and I can't believe it. It's got little grapes on it. And I don't even know if this thing has roots on it yet. I'm assuming it must, since it's got good leaves and the little grapes. So how amazing. And I trimmed my boxwood, and I decided to see if cuttings would amount to anything. So I just stuck those in there today. I hope I get some boxwoods. Well, I didn't walk out front, but out front in my, what I call the mound, I planted some sweet peas, not the kind you eat, but the kind that are just for flowers. I planted seeds, so hopefully they come up. I also planted some nasturtium seeds out there and some calendula seeds. So I'm hoping that all three of those will decide to come up, because that will help make that area really quite beautiful. The other thing I did today, I made some homemade pizza, a small, like a personal size pizza with sourdough bread. Sourdough, the crust was made out of sourdough starter as opposed to a dough made with regular yeast. I like it because it makes a nice thin crust. And this was just a kind of a mini pizza because I didn't have a lot of stuff to put on it. Usually I overload the pizza with, onions and olives and all kinds of stuff, and I didn't do that this time. But it still tasted good. And I always have to do half and half. I put cheddar cheese on my half and white cheese on my husband's half because the cheddar cheese doesn't agree with him very well. But he can eat the white cheese. So that's about all I've done today, besides rearrange a few things in my plant room, getting ready to plant some summer things like cucumbers and patty pans and what else? Things that I have to pretty much wait until just shortly before I can plant them out. So I opened a big bag of potting soil and got it in a container, and that's all ready for me. So we'll be doing that in a few days, and I'll probably bring you along on a video. Well, I hope all is well on your end of everything. May the good Lord richly bless you, and may whatever you're growing grow beautifully and bountifully. And always remember to seek out the truth. Until next time, Darlene from Darlene's Garden at my pet name for my yard, Markward Meadows. And my clocks are all ringing to bid you until next time. See ya. I'll let the clock ring so you can enjoy it. I love listening to this one.